Hello, people. What is this on my chin? Hello, people. Welcome back to the Nightwalk Vlog. I got on my nice Tom and Jerry shirt here. The lady at the dinner said she loved the shirt. So, let's have a conversation. Let's have a serious conversation here. You know, I've been on the internet for a long time. I've been on the internet for too long, in fact. And one question that tends to come up very often, as far as pertaining to guys like myself who happen to be virgins, right? Especially as you get more into like advanced ages, because a lot of guys are virgins, but they're not necessarily like MGTOW or anything like that. Like they're still, they're, they're still, they're still receptive and open to dating and getting a girlfriend. Some guys they're just late bloomers. There are a lot of guys who are just kind of late to getting on that boat. I'm trying to find the right angle here. Yeah, there we go. There's the handsome face. But yeah, some guys are just late bloomers. And one of the questions that always comes up is, should you tell a girl that you're a virgin? Whether it's, I guess, assuming that it's a girl that you just met, maybe she could be a potential girlfriend, or maybe it could just be a friends with benefits type situation, whatever the case may be. But that's a question that I see very often. I was on the advice board and I saw it pop up, and I was just kind of scrolling through the thread, and you know, you get like mixed, you get mixed kind of answers, right? But I feel like my take is very different from what I see normally. That's why I wanted to talk about this, because one of the main reasons why guys tend to ask this question is because guys tend to be afraid that if they tell a girl that they're a virgin, then the girl is going to lose interest. And, that's a very reasonable fear, because one thing about women are kind of the opposite to men when it comes to like virginity or even like sexual experience for the most part, right? You have exceptions, but women tend to be the opposite in their perception of it. Women tend to want a guy that's experienced. Women tend to be more attracted to a guy when other girls are interested in him, right? I've heard so many stories of guys saying that before they got a girlfriend, it seemed like girls weren't really into them. But then once they got a girlfriend and they started walking around with her, people knew that he was taken. Maybe they had like a wedding ring on or some shit like that. Like I've seen a lot of stories where guys say that girls just out of nowhere started showing them more interest. And I don't know exactly how that works or why it works like that, but the prevailing theory is that women just have this thing about like pre-selection, right? They feel like if you already have a girlfriend, or if other girls like you, even if they don't really see what they see, it's kind of just based on an assumption of, well, if you have a girlfriend, it must be something about you. If you're sexually active, it's got to be something, right? Because if you were completely unattractive and had nothing going for yourself, then more than likely you wouldn't be dating and whatnot, especially if the girls that you're seeing with are like fairly attractive. So girls tend to, it seems to me, based on what I've seen and what a lot of other people say, girls tend to like guys who are more experienced. And with guys, we're the opposite, right? We don't. And some guys are different. Some guys are complete whoremongers and don't give a fuck. Some guys are simps and cucks, and they'll have their wife fucking different black dudes and different bulls and whatnot. So um, it does depend, but generally it does seem like guys who are more interested in like a monogamous situation, we tend to prefer girls who are less experienced. And then you have a lot of guys who are I want a girl who's a straight up virgin, right? And I'm not settling for less than that. So female virginity is valued by men, but male virginity isn't really valued by women. And every now and then I might hear like a story about a quote unquote virgin hunter, right? Yeah, I'm sure you've all heard of those, like the virgin hunters. But I think those are pretty rare. But I I say all that to say, me, based on everything I've seen, I would just I would say that most women probably are not gonna they're not gonna be too thrilled about you being a virgin, and that's why guys tend to be hesitant to disclose that kind of information. And while I was browsing that thread, there were a lot of people who were saying, "Look, just lie. Like whatever you do, just lie. Never tell a girl you're a virgin, right?" And that's probably the most common advice that I see when I see these types of threads. Most guys would be like, don't tell her, uh, keep it to yourself. Never tell a girl you're a virgin, right? That's the most common advice that I see. Just lie and figure it out later. But here's the Chad Marco advice. Here's the crazy man advice. Right? The advice that'll keep you a lifelong virgin. But I think it's good advice though. So me personally, I think you should tell them. I think you should always tell them. If you're a virgin, just tell them. Now, why? Why should you tell them, right? And and here's why I think you should just go ahead and tell them. One, you don't know, but she might be one of those virgin hunters, right? And even if she's not like specifically hunting, like okay, that's kind of extreme, right? But you never know. You being a virgin could be an exciting like aspect for her, or something that's exciting for her, right? The idea that I could be this guy's first, right? And so I know typically girls, again, they tend to want guys who are more experienced, but still the experience of being with someone who's inexperienced is kind of special in of itself. Maybe not for the same reason that guys tend to seek virginity in women, but I could see a woman being kind of excited about being a guy's first, right? And I think that when you it was a roach. And I think if you disclose the information and you give her the opportunity, that could be exciting for her, right? That's one of the reasons why I would do it. But as I say this, always remember, if you do tell her, you could be missing out on pussies. So always keep that in mind. But the main reason why I think you should tell her is that I think when you go into a situation with a girl and off the rip you're already lying about shit, you got to think like what does that say about you and your attachment to her already? Like you guys aren't even a couple yet. You haven't had sex yet, but you're so afraid of losing that opportunity that you're willing to lie just to make sure that you seal the deal, right? And me personally, I don't like that. I think like one thing that I always hear is that the way you start is how you finish. And I think that if you go into an interaction with a girl based on lies, based on, okay, I'm so afraid, I'm so afraid of missing this opportunity that I'm willing to lie, I feel like that's gonna set the precedent for the rest of the interactions. You know, you can flip the script, sure. But me personally, I don't like that because it's like off the rip, it's like you're engaging her with this fear energy. Like, I'm afraid of losing this opportunity, so I'm going to lie, right? And that's the main reason why I think you shouldn't lie about it, and why I think you should go ahead and be upfront about being a virgin. Because I don't like the idea of going into into an interaction based on fear of losing. Like, you're not even with her and you're already afraid of losing her, right? So what does that really say about you, you know? And I know that it's risky because if you do tell her, there's the opportunity that she's gonna lose interest because you're a virgin. But for me personally, if that's the case, and that's it pretty much is what it is. And not only that, but it's also like it's a shit test in a way too. Not the same as a shit test, but it's a test. In a way, it's a test because what I see and with a lot of guys, and because it's not just about like this particular subject of telling the girl you're a virgin or letting her know, right? It seems like guys, because we tend to have such few options, we tend to be in this state of desperation to where we do feel like we have to lie about shit and whatnot. Women tend not to be in that state. Women tend to, when they first meet a guy, they're trying to, they tend to shit test. They're trying to figure out your weaknesses, right? Uh they're trying to basically like put you through a filter to figure out if you're worth dealing with. And guys, for the most part, we tend not to do that. We tend to be on the opposite end of just, I'm so desperate, I'm gonna lie, I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna steal to get this pussy. Right? And I think in a way, letting a girl know that you're a virgin is almost like a shit test. Because what you're doing is you're gauging her interest level. It's like, one thing I realize is that when a girl has a high interest in a guy, she'll put up with a lot of shit. She'll tolerate a lot of bullshit, a lot of flaws. Like when a girl has a high interest, but when the girl has low interest, she's looking for any reason to disqualify you. And this is just me personally, but if I was dealing with a girl, I would want to deal with a girl who has a high interest in me. I don't want to deal with a girl who is going to lose interest based on like one or two things, like one or two flaws that I reveal about myself. I can see if I had like kids or herpes or some shit, right? Like those are like serious flaws. But if I tell her something like I'm a virgin or I have a small dick and she loses interest, then that's unfortunate, but that's not the type of girl that I want to deal with anyway, because that means that her interest, her attraction is so low that it took very little to disqualify me. And I think that when you're willing to tell girls not just you're a virgin, but other different little flaws about you that just are what they are, right? I think that the value of it is that you're able to gauge her interest, because if you tell her these things and she sticks around, then there's a good chance that her interest in you is fairly high, because she's willing to look past traits and circumstances that would typically be unattractive to her. The fuck is that? Oh. I think we got some cats running around this bitch or something. But yeah, I would go ahead and I would tell them, because I think that when you're so worried about shit like that, you're in a state of fear, right? You're already walking on eggshells trying to make this situation work. And look, never listen to me, because I'm a wizard now, right? So don't listen to me. But my philosophy is just, you gotta be willing to fuck shit up. You gotta be willing to fuck shit up sometimes, because I think that ultimately you better off ending up losing opportunities than trying to force shit to work because I think in the long run, it's better to be dealing with girls who have a high interest in you rather than you being the one with the high interest, lying and shit, lying and scared all the time. Like, I can't let her know this, I can't tell her that. I don't think that, like, to me, that's very negative energy, right? And I think that it's best to be willing to miss out on the opportunity. And the truth is just simply the truth. It is what it is. And I think that if you're dealing with somebody who can't tolerate and deal with the truth of who you are and what your experiences are, again, it's like do you think that's really gonna work out long term? Right? It could. Maybe I'm just Mr. Crazy Man. Right? But I wouldn't want to start a relationship off like that. I think the person I want to be with, I want to be able to reveal who I am, um, at, at least to like a reasonable degree, and her to still to still stick around and say, you know what, but I like this motherfucker so much. I don't care that he's a virgin. I don't care he got a small dick. I don't care that he just learned how to drive 6 months ago. Right? That's the type of girl that I would want. A girl who has a high interest and a high attraction to me. Not a girl that I gotta lie to and present myself as being something that I'm not to make it work. So that's the Chad Marco advice on this particular subject. I hope you guys enjoyed this Nightwalk vlog. I'm gonna be coming back to you guys soon. So, Johnny.